Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you this easy bridal glowy look slash smoky brown eyes. I've been asked to do this. People were saying they wanted to see a makeup look, so here we go. So first of all, I'm prepping the skin with the facial radiance pads by First Aid Beauty. These are great for giving a lovely glow and exfoliation before you start your makeup prep. I'd recommend these for anybody really, not just a bride, but they are a nice little touch. Then what I do is, it might seem backwards to a lot of people, but I start on the eyebrows. The reason for this is we don't want any product running through the brows, like foundation or anything, making them look strange. But this is, again, like, this is a proper full-on makeup look, so you might not want to do all these steps on yourself, which is fine, but for like a bridal makeup, this is really important. This sets the brows. It also makes your own brows more full, so you're getting a lot more hair than you ever thought you had, because this product really sort of fluffs them up and lifts the eyebrow, which is really important. Next, I'm taking Tarte Shape Tape, and I use this to sort of blank canvas the eye space rather than sort of use a eye prep primer. I just prefer to use a concealer all over the lid, and I just blend that in with like a waxy brush. I will link every product that I've used below, and of course if you've got any questions or anything like that, all you have to do is ask. Next up, I'm taking one of my favourite products for bridal, just my favourite products in general. This is Champagne Pop, Champagne Pop or Champagne, I should really know, by Charlotte Tilbury, and it is a gorgeous cream eyeshadow base. The thing I love about cream eyeshadow bases, if I can just clear my throat, is that they make anything that goes on top of them way more intense. I'm also taking a chocolate tone one to go on the outer corners. I probably was a little bit heavy-handed with this. As you can see, I spread it to the other eye. Just putting this on with a little fluffy domed brush, keeping it nice and light usually, and just feathering that in so it's nicely blended. And again, my plan is when I lay down any gold or any brown on top of this, it will just intensify the colours, and it provides like a longer staying power for it as well. I really recommend these eye creams. They last forever. You don't need much to create like quite a big impact, and the good thing about them is you can just wear them on their own. You don't have to lay a shadow on top of them. Now I'm going in with my favourite palette for bridal. I just think it's got something for everybody, and I'm just taking this is sort of called like a transition colour into the crease. I'm taking one of my favourite blending brushes, which is by BK Beauty. I'm going to link them all. They are incredible. They are from America, so they do take a little bit longer to get here, but they're amazing. And I also have a code hopefully by the time this video goes out, so I'll also include that. So working in sort of circular, this is a rounded eye look, by the way. This isn't like a fox eye or a wing. So just sort of like buffing and rounding into that eye. It's a very like romantic, soft look. So yeah, that's this look. And I'm just like working on the socket. Do not worry about the mess that you're making on the edge of the eyes, because you'll see in a bit that we're just going to wipe it all away with a baby wipe. And this is why it's important not to do the face makeup first, because you can just be messy and creative with it. Then I'm taking a darker, like warmer shade, and just concentrating that on the outer corners. This will just give it a bit more depth, a bit more shadow, a bit more richness. Yeah, basically just using that same brush to really fluff it in. And I honestly just say with eyeshadows, a lot of people say they can't blend and it just ends up looking a mess. Go for a good quality eyeshadow. This palette will last you a long time. These brushes will last you a lifetime if you look after them well, and your work is made so much easier by the tools that you have and the products. I have yet to find a really good high street brand that gives a great pigment payoff, that blends well. I just think certain things you can get away with saving and certain things you need to splurge on. That's just my advice. Next, I'm taking a MAC pigment. This is in Jardinairs. I think this Jardinairs, I don't know. I think it's been discontinued now, but I've had it forever. And again, I've got some others that I can suggest by Peaches and Cream, and I would also advise investing in a good pigment because they last so long. If you've got another makeup artist friend that you could maybe share it with, because you do not need a whole jar of pigment, and just decant it, that would be a good option. But I'm just patting this into the gold cream base. with a fluffy flat brush. And again, this is just to intensify it, and it's going to give a gorgeous, beautiful sheen, especially like if you're looking down, or you know, your photographer wants to capture that lovely like look down at the ring. This is going to look incredible. Then I'm taking a clean fluffy brush and I'm just blending the two colours together so there's no harsh lines or obvious like start stop. This is one of my favourite products. I use this on myself nearly every day as well. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Feline Flick, I think it's called. And this is in a gorgeous brown colour, but it's like a warm brown. Little tip, this eyeliner is like the best one because you can't really go wrong with it. It's very easy to use, it's not too wet. So I line the eye, and then once I've got like the actual line of the eye, to do the flicks, a little tip that I have is open your eye, and where the bottom where the bottom rim is, you're going to want to try and angle your flick with that. You can probably see me doing it here. So anywhere from there is basically where you want to go, and then they should end up equal. And I'm sort of dragging it down, and then after I've dragged it, I will then connect it. So I can do like a more close-up version of this if you prefer, but it really is a little bit of practice and trial and error. You can see now I'm now dragging that line down and connecting it with the line that I've done along the lashes, and then fingers crossed every time this should mean equal flicks, and also they're in the right position, they're not dragging your eye down or anything like that. Now if you were just wearing this, it's like going out look or whatever, this would be enough, but I can't help myself, and I'm going in with the Inglot gel liner. This is great. This dries down very, very quick, so you do have to work a little bit faster. And I would also say this is maybe for people that are a little bit more experienced with using liner, because it's a tiny little brush, which does help, by the way. This BK brush is amazing, but I'm just going over that brown line, and then I'm taking the darkest brown shade in the palette, and I'm not going on the liner line, I'm going just above it, and this is going to help us smoke and soften the look. And I'm taking a pencil brush to do that very thing, smoking it all out, making it nice and soft, diffusing it, so it just looks a bit more bridal. But you can absolutely leave the liner as it is if you want something a bit more dramatic, but as you can see between the two there, it's starting to like soften it a little bit. So it's just going on with like a very soft fine line, and then I'm smoking it out with the pencil brush. And just to prove a point, I've had this MAC pencil brush for about 20 years and it's still going strong. So this is just a baby wipe now, and you can see how much product comes off. So imagine if you did your face makeup first, the amount of fallout that's going to sit underneath your eyes and not look pretty. It's going to have pigment under there, which is going to cause flashback. Yeah, and plus your hands and stuff have been all over your face. So this is the best way to do it. I find a lot of clients are always like, what? You do the eyes first? And I'm like, yeah, trust me, once you do it, you will never go back. So now I'm going back to the eyebrows. The reason I'm going back to them now is the product that we put in at the beginning, the gel, is nice and dry. I'm just using the Anastasia Soft Brown to fill in the main bulk of the brow. And then I'm trying to keep these brows soft. Normally I would do a fuller brow, but I'm keeping them soft. I'm just using the Anastasia angled brush, and then I go in with the NYX Ash Brown just to do the little flicky up bits at the beginning of the brow to make it look a little bit more natural, a bit more soft. I would say if you're new to brows that the best solution is probably to start with a brow pencil like this. They're really inexpensive. This is just something that I think maybe you can save on a little bit and that you don't have to splurge. They give a good colour payoff, and they're great to sort of practice with until you want to invest in something a bit more expensive. But yeah, just basically going in and filling the little spaces in that I want to look more like hairs. I'm using the Snap Lashes. I will get the number for you. I think they're number 4, these ones, but I'm just popping them on with duo glue, which in my opinion is the best glue for making sure they don't budge. And if you use the brush on version, that dries extremely quick. I think I've got a tutorial on how to put lashes on my YouTube channel. I'll try and link that as well, but it's practice with these sorts of things. Now I'm moving on to colour corrector, and again this is a step that you don't have to include, but for my brides I do. This is a MAC palette, and again a little goes a long way. So I'm just using peach and yellow tones to counteract any purple and blue under the eye. You'll see the difference this makes. You don't need a lot. And then I'm using a Becca green concealer just to get rid of any redness. So this is just like colour wheel theory, and like I say, it just makes me feel I'm giving that extra service, that extra tailoring to make sure her makeup is perfect for the day. And again, it's adding that extra layer, that extra foundation, so that it lasts all day. I always mix foundations, normally use two. I'm using the Giorgio Armani 6.5 and then the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin in number 1, just to neutralise it down a little bit, but I'm trying to obviously match. Jasmine has got some fake tan on her body, but it's come off of her face, so it is going to look a bit warmer until it's all on. I'm using my favourite foundation brush from BK Beauty. This is my ride or die. It is incredible. It's so good for pressing the product into the skin. And when people say to me, how does your makeup last all day? How did that happen? When I've done makeup on people before, this brush has a lot to do with it. So I always do 2 layers of foundation. So first one is now, and we're pushing the product in. You can probably see I'm not like wiping all around the face or scrubbing like we normally do. I'm pushing that product in, and then I do like a second light layer with a beauty blender just to pat it all and like really seal the deal. But yeah, this brush is heavenly. It saves so much time because it's big. And this is me just patting in some more foundation to make sure it's really locked in. I always think once the foundation goes on, you can really start to see the intensity of the eyeshadow. Now I've just popped on some creamy concealer by NARS in Custard. This is just to act as a bit of a base concealer, and then to lighten I go in with the Shape Tape, which is in shade Light, I think. I just put a tiny bit of this because Jasmine doesn't really need a lot of correcting under her eyes, to be honest with you. I just make sure I go over the brows, down the bridge of the nose, just to make sure that if the places where the foundation can't quite get close to, I make sure I do it with the concealer. This brush is also from BK Beauty, and again, you can just see how effortlessly this pats the product into the eye area. No streaky lines, no creasing with it. It is just fantastic. And then this is me adding the lightening concealer. Again, you might not need 2 concealers if this is just like a night out makeup, but again, for bridal, I do tend to take extra steps just to make it super bougie and super perfect, and making sure that I'm, doing my best for the photography side of things as well. It's not just I need to look great in person sort of thing. It needs to look great when it's being photographed too. Again, similar to the foundation, making sure everything is pressed and patted in is the most important thing to making sure your makeup lasts all day and doesn't crease as much as possible. I mean, do not get me wrong, one thing I always say to people is do not expect 0 creasing. Your face moves, it's a cream product. With all the powder in the world, we can't prevent creasing. So I'm using the Chanel cream bronzer, and I'm using a waxy brush. I think this is a Real Techniques one. Just very soft contour. This is not like a high contour look, very soft bridal. Very easy to do. You can't really go wrong with this product, so I would recommend it. Also, the Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer is very good also, and you just apply it where you want to add warmth or definition, and then you can just literally blend it in. You can see how easily this product blends. Sometimes this product is nice just to have on your face every day, like if you're sort of just wanting a little bit of a glow but you don't want to put foundation on, sometimes I just brush this along my contours and it's good enough. It's lovely. And I'm buffing it into the hairline so we've got no obvious markers from foundation to scalp. I always try and blend it in a little bit and push it right back to the ears, again just to make the whole thing come together and look like you're not wearing a mask, because that is never a good look. And if you feel like you've gone in too strong, or if you just want to marry the whole look, your beauty blender is your best friend, because it will just marry the whole thing together and merge it all nicely. I'm taking the NARS Cream Blusher in Brazen. Again, this is not a step that you have to take. You don't have to take both steps, but again, because this is bridal, I like to put a cream product, and then after this I will also pop a blusher on in a powder form, again just to add that luminosity, that lovely glow, that lovely pigment that lasts all day. So now that all the cream products are on and we don't want it to move and we're happy with the level that we've popped on, I'm going to take my Huda Beauty translucent powder, and I'm just going in with a very delicate fluffy brush underneath the eyes. So you're not wanting to pack too much product on. It's nothing worse than putting too much powder under your eyes. You will literally accentuate any bags or fine lines, wrinkles, etc. You want to keep it nice and light underneath there and just feather it down. And then I take a larger fluffy brush and I just pop the powder where you need it. I do tend to put a lot more powder on a bride than normal, because again, I want it to last all day for them. It will look very porcelain-like at the beginning. I know a lot of people are into this whole glowy trend, which looks sensational. However, longevity, I'm not sure that it will last all day. So a lot of brides say, look, powder me up. Then I'm using the Kiko bronzer here. It's not the most pigmented bronzer I've ever used. I was sort of trialing this one out. I'm not sure. I mean, it's lovely, but you have to really layer it up to get some pigment out of it. I do think the Hoola bronzer is better. I'm just trying to find a good dupe for the Hoola one, because the Hoola one is expensive for what you get, I think. Whereas this was a lot more affordable, and I was like, I'm just going to give it a try. Smells lovely. It is nice, but this is the Orgasm Blush by NARS. It is a beautiful shade. It pretty much suits everybody. It's a great bridal colour. You'll see a lot of makeup artists using this that are in the bridal field. It just gives a lovely flush, like I say. It's just beautiful. It really suits a lot of people. So it does tend to be my sort of like go-to grab colour, if that makes sense. Traditional bridal. Favourite highlighter, which is MAC Soft and Gentle. It provides such a gorgeous glow. Look at this. Oh, lovely. It's not too harsh, not too silvery. I think sometimes if it's too silvery or metally like toned on photos, it can literally look like you're wearing stripes over your faces, or it's not good. Face. So I concentrate this on the bridge of the nose, the cheekbones, and then I like to pop a little bit with my finger for intensity on top of the Cupid's bow. Then I take like a pencil brush and pop some in the tear duct. Again, for bridal, this looks beautiful. It photographs really well. Just a little finishing touch that I just love to do. Then I'm going in with this creamy pencil this is from Inglot. It's just a flesh coloured tone to go inside the eye. This makes the eyes look bigger. It's not as harsh as white, it's a lot softer. Then I'm taking the shimmery colour, the shimmery like golden brown from the palette, and I'm just taking a little angled brush and brushing it along. Now the shimmer, you can't really see it from here, but it's so beautiful under the eyes. I don't really like to put a black liner or tight liner or anything like that, because if a bride cries, it ends up just looking a hot mess. So I'm just literally feathering this along the bottom lash line. Again, makes the lashes look fuller, just brings the whole look together, makes it look a bit more finished, a bit more sultry-eyed. It's such a pretty step, and you can see like it works with what we've done for emphasising Jasmine's eyes at the edges. And then taking a little fan brush and applying some mascara on the bottom lashes. This is waterproof mascara by Kiko, by the way, so it will not budge. And using this little brush is so much better if you're a makeup artist, because it's so much easier to get into the eyelashes right at the sort of root, rather than fanning around with a wand. Right, this lip liner, I believe, I will need to check, is Toast or Sweet Tea by Morphe. I need to check. I think it's Sweet Tea. But any sort of neutral, like brownie toned lip liner is great for this look. I will often reach for Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. It's a lovely colour, but this one just seemed to work well with this. This is the Too Faced Melted Matte Lip. This is in Child Star, and I'm just applying this as like a base all over the lip, and then I'm using a gloss. I think it's a peaches and cream one next. I should really wait until the footage shows me. but I'm just going to go with it because I think I used. So yeah, just popping this over. You do have to work quite quickly with matte lipsticks, but again, this colour does suit a lot of people. Yeah, I think I used the Peaches and Cream gloss over the top just to give it a little bit more youthfulness, a little bit more bridal. I did like this as a look with the matte lip, and it totally works, but like I say, with bridal for me, I just feel like it needed something a little bit more. Yeah, so I am using the Peaches and Cream, and it's got a really beautiful glitter. When I say glitter, that sounds really like 90s. A lovely shimmery glittery look that just, oh, it looks so pretty in photos. You can probably see it coming to life now, and it does make the lips look fuller, more juicy, just more bridal, I think. So at this point, once the lip's on and everything's done, before I put setting spray on, I'll often look at the look, photograph it, whatever, and think, do I need a little bit more in the eyes, a little bit more blush? And I'll just go back in and just titivate it a little bit, just to see if the balance is correct. I just felt like it needed a little bit more warmth. So that's what I'm doing. But again, keeping it very light because we don't want to drop lots of pigment onto the face that we've just made perfect. Setting spray by Morphe, just to lock it all in and rejuvenate all the powder that we put on. And there you have it. There is the beautiful Jasmine and her beautiful bridal look. Just patting the setting powder in so it's not got droplets or anything on the face, just merging it all together. We curled her hair, we popped some earrings in, we made it a look, and that's it. That's the beautiful Jazz. I hope you've enjoyed this look. Please let me know down below if you'd like to see more videos like this, and what you thought, and I'll see you in the next video. Any questions, just leave them below.